Hello, everyone. My name's Duncan White. I'm the managing editor of the International Fire Safety Journal, and I'm delighted today to be joined by Tim Thorne from TenCate's. Tim, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good morning here. So,
Oh, great that you can join me and we can spend some time. It's great for me to learn new things about companies that I've known and respected for a long time. So, for the audience, Tim, tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up working at TenCate's.
thanks, Duncan, for having me on, by the way. This is a great opportunity for us and to kind of share our story a little bit, TenCate's, and then myself as well. So I started at TenCate's over 13 years ago. I've always worked for TenCate's out of school. So I started as a chemist. So very technical part of our business and developing dye and chemical formulas and processes for all of our products. So if you're not aware, TenCate's, we manufacture protective textiles for emergency response, firefighting related applications, military related applications, and industrial safety applications. So those are our three big in-use segments that we focus on and we specialize in. But generally, they're all flame resistant in nature. So it's all fire resistant or fire retardant textiles that are used for those applications. But I was a chemist. I started there in our manufacturing facility. Really learned a lot about what we do, all the way down to the manufacturing part, and then over the years, I moved into developing, engineering some of the fabrics, and then moved into business development. So one interesting shift in my career here is I was a development engineer, engineering our military fabrics. And then I was offered the opportunity to go into business development for the Asia Pacific region. So to me, that was a big shift in what I was doing, but a great opportunity for me to learn a new part of our business and see the world as well. I spent a lot of time in traveling the world and meeting firefighters and different organizations that are important to what we do. But and then, today I'm our global market and product manager for the emergency response market. So I have technical experience, but I also have commercial experience in working in the market, working with customers. And that's kind of my journey here in a nutshell.
Well, it's certainly, I think that's a very rounded journey that gives you all the tools in the armory there to deal with that role. And I hear so many times about how fortunate we all are to be working in this in the global fire industry. And I talk to so many people in security and other industries that are so envious of the bond that we have got in the global fire industry. And as you say, you worked in the Asia Pacific region as well. And it doesn't matter where you go in the world, a firefighter is a firefighter. If you're in the industry, regardless of what part you play, you always get that same warm family welcome and the help along the way if it's needed. So yeah, we never lose sight of how fortunate we are, especially when we speak to our colleagues in the security industry that are so envious of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, I've met firefighters all over the world, and like you said, it doesn't matter where you are. A firefighter is a firefighter. They're mind is to help and to help each other, and there's a strong bond culture that I observe, and I see that all over the world, and it's amazing. I really think that it's special to be to be a part of this industry, and um, I consider myself fortunate to be around such great people on a regular basis. So it's been fantastic.
Every day's a holiday. That's what I say.
Yeah.
It's good that it's good to have that global perspective as well. To have an understanding of what goes on, and also the pressures that different sectors of the globe have. And that leads me on nicely in terms of the current global market. So, how do you view the current global market when it comes to the emergency response sector?
Um, that's a very broad question, but I think we I think what for TenCate we have more and more of a global view on it, and I see that it, everything's globalized, not just us, but everywhere with technology, the internet, being able to see what other people are doing on the other side of the world has really globalized everything and what we do, and so that's really translated into firefighting and PPE as well. So um, we I see that our customers, which are garment manufacturers, they're making the turnout gear. I think that they are looking at things more broadly today. So they're not just looking at regional safety standards anymore. They're looking at global safety standards. They're looking at what's going on in the U.S., what's going on in Australia, or U.S. manufacturers saying, "Hey, look, what's happening in Europe." So it's really blending together a lot, I think, and so we see that globalization. And then I think there is more emphasis on safer materials, of course, so more protective, but also what is going in the gear. How is it manufactured? Sustainability is becoming a bigger part of that too, that we see. So we've integrated that into our processes and how we manufacture materials. I've seen that change, and then for us, specifically in firefighting, heat stress has been a big problem. But I think there's just a lot of focus on that, and we are working very hard to find solutions from what we can control, how we manufacture the materials. Huge part of what drives what we do in our innovation funnel. So I think those things kind of working together, globalization, um, more awareness of what firefighters are exposed to. Like, I think it's changed since I started here pretty drastically, in that, firefighters always think of the fire as the danger, and that's true still. But I think we're finding that some of the dangers can be invisible, right? Like soot and smoke and your exposure to that, contamination. And so that has shifted the landscape uh, uh, dramatically. And so we've shifted how we approach things, how we think about things, how we develop products. We think, how can we tackle the problem? What can we do as a textile manufacturer? So, um,
Yeah,
those
I
it's just it's really fascinating because things are changing so rapidly, and there's so many things up in the air right now that NFPA just they're coming out with a new safety standard, and now there's a list of substances that are checked in how materials are made, and so that's impacting how we manufacture materials. I know that in Europe, in the UK, those guys are looking at what's going on in the US. They're thinking about it as well, and so um, it's going to change. I think we'll see a lot of changes in the future, and we'll see that evolve. So.
Yeah, I totally agree, and you touched on some of the focuses that we're seeing globally, um, say for materials, PFAS, sustainability, environmental impact, invisible risk, contamination, stuff that um, wasn't discussed 5 or 10 years ago. We're now looking at not only the risk that you can visibly see, but the risk you can't. And I very often liken the current emerging crisis within the emergency response market to that of mesothelioma back in the 60s and 70s. We've got firefighters that are taking this contamination home with them. They're exposing the wider community to this, and quite rightly, we're looking at the new standards. NFPA are working hard, and I know the British standards, the European standards, and all the guys and girls that work hard for us on those are looking at this whole issue, and quite rightly, it's making sure that you're not focusing in just on that one area where you live. You're focusing on that whole global perspective, because it may be somebody in the US, somebody in the UK that comes up with that next generation that is going to protect us. And as we said earlier, a firefighter is a firefighter wherever you live in the world. So we should be sharing that best practice wherever we possibly can. So we looking at that, carrying on the global perspective view and looking at the emergency response market. So from a customer's point of view, TenCate, what value would a client see by working with you guys in relation to emergency response and their PPE requirement?
Yeah. So our customers, garment manufacturers, how we view ourselves is we want to be a global partner for our customers, because of these changes, these global changes and rapid changes in the market, in PPE and firefighting. That's really hard to navigate by yourself as a manufacturer, and so us being in such a great position to provide global products, global solutions, partnerships, because we have such a large network of folks in our organization all over the world, as well as partners all over the world, contractors that do a lot of work for us all over the world. We can really be that global partner for our manufacturers who are, again, looking at doing more outside of their region. So doing more related to different safety standards, different garments. And so we can really help. I think sharing a lot of information and cross-pollinating information, like I said, knowing what's going on in the UK, knowing what's going on in the US, Latin America, Asia Pacific. We are kind of the bee that's sharing that information and helping fire department in the Middle East understand, hey, what's going on in Europe? What's changing from a safety standards perspective, or what's new and innovative? What's the conversation about? What's going on in the U.S. And how is the landscape shifting there? So we really bring those expertise and that global knowledge to help our partners in the value chain. So that's garment manufacturers as well as fire departments. We work directly with fire departments. And that's primarily what we do is we share information. We educate them on on the different technologies, the different safety standards, the trends that we see, what other departments are doing, so that they can really create the best solution for them. They can do the right risk assessments and understand what their needs are, and really operate with best practices. So I think we're a part of that.
Quite right, Tim. And when the end user is looking to do their due diligence in terms of what's out there, what's being used by their neighbouring fire departments, and also what's happening in other parts of the world, having a supplier that is open and transparent and willing to share that knowledge and understanding certainly provides the confidence to know that you're going into partnership rather than just being seen as a customer, and that to me is the whole journey. It's a huge investment, changing turnout gear for firefighters, especially in all departments, regardless of the size. So knowing that you have got somebody there that will, in effect, hold your hand every step of the way, and not only when things go right, but when there are issues that need to be resolved, it's those that come to the fore that are the true companies that people look up on and say, well, TenCate was certainly there not only to take our money, but also to help us when we needed to do our evidence gathering, and also sort out any issues that we had when they happened or may arise. And to me, that is what makes manufacturers in this sector stand out from their competition. It's putting in place those foundations and that trust and the ability to ask the most stupid question, but without feeling like you're asking a stupid question, because the person that responds to you are doing it in a way that you know and understand, which makes it understandable on the first occasion. So, yeah, certainly applaud that approach. Why would a end user or manufacturer choose to come across to TenCate and change their fabric? What would you say to them if they were thinking about it?
Um, First, our products. I mean, we invest so much in innovation. We use that our rich history and knowledge of you know these types of textiles, and when you're first introduced to us, we will start with our end users. So we people within our own organization that are in our manufacturing facilities, they identify as protecting firefighters, protecting military personnel, protecting industrial safety personnel, people working on our manufacturing floor. So how we develop products and manufacture products is always connected to what an end user is doing, what a firefighter is meant to do. So our products are really tailored for firefighting. And we're always bringing new technologies into the firefighting industry to help solve a lot of the problems like heat stress or durability concerns, or some of the challenges that you have with flame resistant fibers. So we're always integrating new technologies there, but it's always focused on end users. And then I would say that outside of the products, again, it's just being that partner and support is super important. I go to a lot of our trade shows and see a lot of the same people all over the world, like PBI, our fiber suppliers and partner, garment manufacturers that are customers that are also partners, end users, of course. But and we're only a small part of firefighting. There's so much more out there, but it's amazing to see all of these people working together and supporting each other with so much knowledge and years of experience that makes us feel confident in our industry and PPE that we've got the right people and we have a lot of innovation expertise driving, what goes into your turnout gear and how and best practices. And so I'm always just impressed at our industry, but we contribute to that. We're bringing our own technologies and solutions there and making things, better for firefighting, more comfortable, safer. So it's just that kind of almost partnership and marriage to the industry and to firefighting. And I see that with other companies and our other partners there. It's so intertwined and connected, and those relationships really kind of hold up what we're doing. So
Exactly. We don't lose focus on why we're doing it and the need to provide the best protection, because with that protection you're then providing the best service to the end user, especially when the end user's got no choice to competition. And that is why, as an industry, we've got to be the very best. Because if your stove breaks down, you can go through the internet and pick one of a million stove manufacturers and suppliers and service engineers. If you dial 911 or 999, you get what you're given, and that's why there's no excuse to be anything but the best. It's that technology, that innovation, that drive to be better that makes the industry so good, because as the latest product is being used behind the scenes, you've got the engineers and the scientists that are already working on the next batch of innovation. But we've got to remember that to be able to do that, we need, as the end user, needs to be supporting the manufacturers in relation to the investment and how they can then invest in the innovation. There's been a lot of discussions over the way in which framework agreements at times are seen to really stifle innovation, because you're locking certain manufacturers into certain timescales, and we have in the UK have got a history of that, which hopefully now is becoming more open and transparent, because the last thing we want to be doing is stifling that innovation. Emergency response practices around the world. You have already told us about that global knowledge, global understanding, and looking at the varying markets on that global stage. How does TenCate customize their offerings within the specific needs of each of those differing markets?
yeah, so that's a good question. It's a balance, you want to develop something that makes sense and supports our global manufacturers, but we also want to make products that are meaningful to the firefighters on the ground and wherever they are, and those needs are different. They can change. It depends on how they're doing the firefighting, how they're trained, different climates as well. If you're in Australia versus in the UK or US or Latin America, the climate, the landscape, that can really change their needs. So we really develop products from to be global but versatile. So one is starting with safety standards. We make sure that our products are certified to all the global safety standards out there, which makes it a safer product, but more applicable for everybody. Anybody can use the products, but also our global supply chain is very, very important in how we develop products. So making sure that our customers and end users can get products quickly and on time, effectively. So that's a huge part of what we do. But we we do have customization within the product lines to cover those needs. But what's really special about us is that we have people all over the world that have regional knowledge of what people need in the Middle East or in Asia Pacific, Northeast Asia, or in Australia or Latin America. We have people all over the world that they're firefighters or retired firefighters or experts in our industry. And so we have a lot of knowledge of what those regional needs are. And so we try to tailor our products and services directly towards them. So I really think that our network of people and expertise is what really drives that customization. So
it's also to me hugely important. I've seen too many companies go down the line of one size fits all. We'll manufacture one product, and that product will be available to you wherever you are around the globe. And we've seen that quite recently with a number of pretty high profile clients that in my view weren't looking in their rear view mirror, and the competition came right past them when it came to providing something that the end user wanted. And that success goes back to the end user, because they're the influencers. They're the people that are knocking on the door of the chief, saying, "We've seen this. It's the best thing since sliced bread, and we want to be a part of that." So rather than being complacent, being that transparent organization that listens to the end user is certainly to me the product for success. And you guys have been doing that for a long time, and quite rightly are enjoying the rewards of that success. TenCate has just launched PBI Peak 5 globally. What can we look forward from TenCate in the next 12 months?
Well, new products. I mean, I'm really excited about a lot of the things that we're working on today. You're going to see a lot more new products from us in the next 12 to 18 months coming out. I think we're able to bring in some new technologies into the firefighting industry to help with those issues that we were talking about, like heat stress, exposure to contaminants, all of those things, making things safer. So I'm really excited about that. And you'll see a lot more. I think you're going to see a lot more products that work for, we are really experts in North America. We have a great product line for the US and the Americas. And we have a lot of history developing products, but you're going to see more products that are going to work in your region, Duncan, like UK and Europe and Middle East and rest of the world. We really want to expand that and have products that work for those global safety standards. And we are investing a lot in technology and building out new products and driving it. So I'm really excited about that. Bringing new products into those markets and for that type of firefighting. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of new products coming from us for sure. So.
Well, that's going to be hugely exciting, whether we're on a show floor in the US, whether we're in Singapore, Australia, or the Middle East. We know that what I call the global fire circus moves around the world to all the different trade shows, and it always fills me with excitement to see what the latest technology is. Tim, it's been an absolute pleasure for me to spend some time with you today, and I really look forward to next time you're over on my side of the pond, that we can spend some more time catching up. And I'd like to wish you all the best and thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Duncan. Really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today. So.
My pleasure. I'm Duncan White. I'm the managing editor of the International Fire and Safety Journal, and I've had the pleasure of speaking to Tim Thorne, TenCate's Global Emergency Response Manager. Good afternoon, everybody. Take care.